I was 74, living alone in a small apartment in Ohio. My kids were busy with their lives, and most days I barely spoke to anyone. Mornings were the hardest. I'd wake up feel like a pile of bricks, legs stiff, hands aching, energy drained before I even got out of bed. Diabetes wasn't just a word on a paper. It was this constant shadow that followed me around, whispering that things would only get worse. I remember one morning staring at the ceiling, thinking, is this what the rest of my life looks like? But something in me got angry enough to fight back. Not with big changes or expensive pills, just small habits, one at a time. What shocked me was how much better I started to feel. Not a little better, a lot. My body woke up again. I had more energy than I'd had in decades. At 74, I felt stronger, clearer, and more alive than I did at 40. I don't say this lightly. The habits I picked up truly saved my life. And no, I'm not a doctor or a health guru. I'm just someone who's been there, tired, scared, and wondering if things could ever get better. That's why I want to share what worked for me. Because I know there are others out there like I was, waking up every day feeling like their body's running on empty. These 5 habits don't cost a thing, and you can do them even if you live alone. Some of them may surprise you, but I promise, if you stick with them, you might just feel younger too. You've got more power than you think. So stay with me till the end, because the last one made the biggest difference of all. If you're over 60 and looking for honest advice that actually works, give this video a like. It helps more folks like us find their strength again. Number 5, drink liquids. For a long time, I thought I was drinking enough. A cup of coffee in the morning, maybe some juice at lunch, and water when I remembered. But the truth is, my body was running dry. I didn't realize how much dehydration was making everything worse. My blood sugar, my energy, even my mood. One day, after feeling dizzy just standing up, I read somewhere that older adults often don't feel thirsty the same way younger folks do. That hit me. I wasn't lazy. I just didn't notice my thirst. So I tried something. I filled up a big pitcher of water every morning and promised myself I'd finish it by dinner. No pressure, no apps, just that simple goal. The first few days, I had to remind myself. I even set a little alarm on my phone at first. But then something amazing happened. After a week of being consistent, I started to wake up with more clarity. My mouth wasn't dry anymore. I wasn't reaching for snacks every hour, which I later realized was often just thirst in disguise. I didn't cut out coffee or tea, but I made sure plain water was my main drink. I also added a squeeze of lemon now and then, just to make it more inviting. And honestly, I felt lighter, less sluggish. Even my skin looked better. It was like my body had been begging for this and finally got what it needed. One of the things that surprised me most was how much water affected my blood sugar. I always thought that was only about food and medicine. But when I stayed hydrated, my numbers got steadier. Not perfect, but more predictable. Fewer spikes, fewer crashes. It's like my body wasn't struggling so hard to filter everything. I didn't expect water to do that. It's free, it's simple, and yet it made a real difference. And when I started drinking a full glass first thing in the morning, game changer. It felt like turning on a switch inside me. I still forget some days. I'm human, but now I keep a big cup by the sink as a visual reminder. And I've learned to listen to my body. If I feel tired or foggy or hungry too soon after a meal, I ask myself, did I drink enough today? Most times I haven't. So I go back, pour a glass, and take a deep breath. It's one of the gentlest forms of self-care I've discovered. And for someone living alone, that means everything. No prescriptions. No special diets. Just a bit of kindness in a cup. So if you're like me, thinking you're probably fine, I encourage you to check in with yourself. Keep it easy. 1 glass when you wake up. 1 with each meal. 1 mid-afternoon. That's already 4. Add a couple more and you're golden. You might not feel the difference in one day, but give it a week. You'll notice. Your body will thank you in quiet, powerful ways. Like mine did. Number 4, manage stress. Stress was a silent weight I carried everywhere. At first, I didn't even call it stress. I just thought I was tired, cranky, or having one of those days. But it was more than that. Worrying about bills, my health, my kids, it never stopped. Living alone made it worse. There was no one to say, "Hey, breathe. It's going to be okay." And diabetes doesn't like stress. It spikes my blood sugar even when I haven't eaten a thing. One night, after a particularly rough day, I sat on the couch and felt my heart pounding. Not from effort, just from thinking. That's when it clicked. If I don't find a way to calm my mind, my body's going to keep paying the price. So I started small. Not yoga, not meditation apps. Just 5 minutes with my hand on my chest, breathing slowly. I told myself, right now you're safe. Right now you're doing your best. At first it felt silly, but it helped. I also began writing down what was bothering me. Not to fix it, just to get it out. Something magical happens when you see your worries on paper. They stop swirling around like ghosts. I'd write 3 lines, fold the paper, and tell myself, leave it there. Some days, I'd call a friend, not to complain, just to hear another voice. That helped more than I expected. Music became my best medicine. I made a playlist of old favorites, songs from when I felt strong, happy, alive. Every morning, I'd put one on while brushing my teeth. That tiny ritual changed my mornings completely. I'd even dance a little in the kitchen, just me and my slippers. Who was watching? No one. And that's the beauty of living alone. You get to be silly, free, and honest. I realized that managing stress isn't about removing problems. It's about building small islands of peace in the middle of the chaos. Over time, I started noticing my sugar levels didn't jump as wildly. I still had worries, but they didn't own me. My sleep improved. I had fewer headaches. My shoulders felt lighter. And when something upsetting happened, I didn't spiral. I had tools now. Simple ones. Breathe. Write. Move. Sing. Talk. It was like building a little first aid kit for my emotions. And for someone with diabetes, that kit might just be as important as anything else. If you're carrying stress like I was, I want you to know this. You don't have to solve everything. Just give your mind a place to rest now and then. Choose one thing, music, writing, breathing, and stick with it for a week. Let it become your anchor. It's not selfish. It's not silly. It's survival. And more than that, it's healing. I never thought I'd say this, but learning to calm my mind helped me feel young again. Like I could face the world with both feet under me. Number 3, get enough sleep. For years, I treated sleep like a luxury. I'd stay up watching TV, scrolling on my phone, or just lying there thinking. And the next day, I'd pay for it. My blood sugar would be all over the place. My legs felt like sandbags, and I'd reach for snacks just to stay awake. I told myself, that's just part of getting old. But one afternoon, after nearly dozing off in the grocery line, I knew something had to change. Sleep wasn't a bonus. It was a missing piece of the puzzle. I read that poor sleep can make it harder to control blood sugar, cause more cravings, and even mess with our mood. I didn't need science to tell me. I was living it. So I started by respecting my bedtime. Like a kid again, I gave myself a cutoff. Lights out by 10:30. I made a routine. No screens an hour before bed. Instead, I'd read something calm, nothing dramatic, and sip warm chamomile tea. I dimmed the lights, made sure my bedroom was cool and quiet, and kept my phone across the room. The first few nights, it was tough. My mind still raced. But after a week, I noticed something. I started falling asleep faster. And when I woke up, I wasn't dragging. I felt, dare I say, refreshed. That was a feeling I hadn't had in a long time. One of the biggest changes came when I started going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even weekends. My body got used to it like clockwork. And guess what? My sugar readings got better too. Less of that early morning spike. I didn't have as much brain fog. I could focus, plan meals, even go for walks without that zombie feeling. It was like sleep had been my missing fuel this whole time. And it didn't cost a cent, just a little discipline and a lot of self-kindness. Of course, there were nights when I still woke up at 3 a.m. That happens, but I stopped panicking about it. I'd sit up, breathe slowly, and maybe read for 10 minutes with a dim light. No pressure to hurry back to sleep, just gentleness. That shift, treating my rest with care instead of frustration, made all the difference. Sleep became something sacred, not just a pit stop between days. And my body, it responded with gratitude. More energy, fewer cravings, better moods. All from something so basic I had ignored for years. If you're tossing and turning or waking up feeling like you haven't slept at all, try treating your bedtime like an appointment with you. Prepare for it like something important, because it is. Give it 1 week. Build a little routine. Protect your peace. You might just find, like I did, that a rested body becomes a healing one. And that feeling, it's priceless. Number 2, healthy eating habits. Changing how I eat was the hardest part, because food isn't just fuel, it's comfort, memory, and routine. I grew up in a house where bread came with every meal, and dessert was how we showed love. So when I was told I had to eat healthy, it felt like giving up joy. But one day, I sat down and asked myself, what if I don't have to give up food, just choose better versions of it? That shift in mindset made all the difference. I didn't throw away everything in my kitchen. I started small, adding color to my plate. A handful of berries here, a few steamed greens there. Slowly, my meals stopped looking beige, and so did my energy levels. I began focusing on variety, not in a complicated way, just making sure my plate had a mix, some protein, some healthy fats, and lots of vegetables. I started using olive oil instead of butter. I swapped white bread for whole grain. I tried nuts as a snack instead of cookies. The change wasn't perfect, but it was consistent. I also started paying attention to how much I was eating. I didn't need giant portions to feel full. I used smaller plates, chewed slower, and gave my body time to catch up. Turns out, I wasn't always hungry. I was just rushing through meals and ignoring my body's signals. The biggest breakthrough came when I cut down on added sugars. Not completely, but I stopped drinking juice with breakfast and saved sweets for special moments. I also stopped drinking soda. That alone made a big difference. I replaced it with sparkling water with lemon or plain iced tea with no sugar. At first, my taste buds complained, but after 2 weeks, I started to crave real food again. My sugar cravings dropped. My mood leveled out. I felt less snappy and more steady. And when I did have a treat, I actually enjoyed it more. Fiber became my secret weapon. I added oats to my breakfast, beans to my salads, and fruit with a peel on. It helped me stay full longer and kept my digestion regular. Something no one likes to talk about, but we all deal with. I also started reading labels at the store. Not obsessively, just enough to make better choices. Less sodium. Fewer ingredients I couldn't pronounce. It felt empowering, not restrictive. I wasn't dieting, I was nourishing. And the more I fed my body what it needed, the less it screamed for what it didn't. Healthy eating isn't about being perfect. It's about listening, trying, adjusting. If you feel overwhelmed, start with 1 meal a day. Make it colorful. Add something green. Swap just one thing. White rice for brown. Sweetened yogurt for plain with fruit. These small shifts build momentum. And soon they become habits. Habits that, in my case, help me feel more alive than I ever thought possible at 74. Number 1, walking after meals. This was a habit that changed everything. I used to eat and then head straight to the couch, especially after dinner. My body would feel heavy, and I'd get sleepy, sometimes even take a nap. But what I didn't know was that this simple routine was quietly working against me. One afternoon, after checking my sugar and seeing it skyrocket, I stumbled on a tip. Walk for 10 minutes after meals. Just 10 minutes. I thought, that's too simple to work. But I had nothing to lose. So I grabbed my jacket, put on some old sneakers, and walked around the block after lunch. No rush, no workout, just moving. That first walk felt awkward. I was full, a little tired, and unsure if it was doing anything. But I kept going, day after day. After a week, I noticed I didn't feel as sleepy after eating. My blood sugar stayed steadier. I even started sleeping better at night. And after a month, my jeans fit differently. My knees didn't ache as much. I felt lighter, and not just physically. Walking gave me a rhythm, a pause in the day, a space to breathe. Sometimes I just listened to the birds. Other times, I'd call a friend while I walked. It became a ritual, one that I started looking forward to. It didn't take long before I made it a rule. Every meal gets a walk, even if it's just pacing inside the apartment when the weather's bad. Movement right after eating helps the body use sugar more efficiently. I didn't need to understand the science. I felt the difference. I wasn't bloated. My sugar readings didn't spike the way they used to. I had more energy throughout the day, and I didn't crash mid-afternoon like before. It's wild how something so gentle could make such a strong impact. And the best part? It's free. No pills. No equipment. Just me and my feet. I also started noticing other changes. I was in a better mood. Less anxious. More clear-headed. Walking gave me time to think, to pray, to reflect. And being outside, even just around the block, helped me feel less alone. Sometimes I'd see neighbors and wave. Other times, I'd just enjoy the quiet. That feeling of being part of the world, moving through it, not stuck in it. It's healing. And over time, my body began to crave it. After each meal, I didn't have to make myself walk. I wanted to. If there's one habit I'd beg you to try, it's this one. Just 10 minutes after you eat. Doesn't matter if it's slow. Doesn't matter if it's indoors. Just move. Give your body that little gift. You'll be amazed at how quickly it starts to thank you. I know I was. At 74, this tiny habit helped me feel more in control, more energized, and more alive than I had in decades. All from a simple walk around the block. I used to believe feeling tired, achy, and heavy was just part of getting old. That after 70, the best I could hope for was to maintain and not fall apart too quickly. But living alone with diabetes taught me something surprising. The body may slow down, but it never stops responding. The small habits I shared with you weren't about chasing perfection. They were about waking up pieces of myself I'd forgotten were there. Energy, clarity, even joy. And the best part? These changes didn't cost me anything but attention. They weren't extreme. They were gentle. That's the word I keep coming back to. Gentle, steady, true. Each habit, on its own, made a difference. But together, they gave me a rhythm. Drinking more water gave my body fuel. Managing stress calmed my system. Better sleep restored me. Eating smart gave me balance. And walking after meals, well, that gave me momentum. If you're watching this thinking, I could never do all that, I get it. Truly, I do. But the trick isn't doing everything at once. It's starting with one thing. Just one. Let it become part of your life, not a chore. Once it settles in, you'll feel it, like a spark catching fire. But here's something important. Before you make any big changes, especially with diabetes or other health conditions, talk to your doctor. Even the gentlest habit can affect your medications, your sugar levels, or other parts of your health. Having a professional's guidance isn't a sign of weakness. It's how we stay safe while getting stronger. I didn't make these changes blindly. I had questions. I made calls. I asked for help. And that's part of the journey, too. You don't have to walk this road alone. You deserve support, clarity, and care. I'm not a doctor. I'm not perfect. I'm just someone who's been there, awake at 3 a.m. feeling overwhelmed, scared, and stuck. And if that's you today, I want you to hear this from someone who understands. You still have time. Your body is more resilient than you think. Your future is not fixed. You don't need to be 20 again. You just need to feel better, stronger, a little more in control. And I promise, even one small habit can start that shift. I've lived it. I've felt it. And I believe you can too. If this video gave you something, hope, an idea, or just a reason to try, please give it a like. That helps it reach more people like us. And maybe share it with a friend or relative who needs this kind of reminder. You never know how far one story can go. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep going. Be kind to yourself. And remember, you're not too old, too broken, or too late. You're still becoming. And the best parts of you, they're still waking up.